the meeting. Could we all stand for our Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comments. At this time, members of the public are invited to address the authority regarding any item that's not listed on the agenda. Please fill out cards and hand to the speaker in advance of the meeting and the clerk of the board. And I do have some, and then they're in no order. So, Andy Russell, Alliance for Jobs.
Hi, everybody. My name is Andy Russell. I'm from California Alliance for Jobs. We're a labor management partnership representing over 80,000 union workers in 200 companies from Bakersfield to the Oregon border. I'm here in front of you guys to say thank you. Thank you for getting Measure J to the ballot. Thank you for all your hard work that went into all the planning and everything you've done. Measure J means so much to us. It's going to provide over 1,500 full-time union jobs over the course of 35 years. So I don't need to tell you guys how important Measure J is. I'm just here to thank you and thank you for all your work you've done over the years to get it to the ballot, because I know it's not easy. And last but not least, I wish you good luck. I know ballots are already pouring in from all over the county. So I just wanted to wish you guys good luck and thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you, sir. Bruce Olson, how'd you know I was going to call you next?
Well, there were only 2 cards.
No, I have 3.
3? Oh.
But you're right, Bruce.
I guess I can't count. Good evening, Mayor Taylor and commissioners. I am Bruce Olson. I rode my bicycle to this meeting tonight from Pittsburgh, and I'm also going to speak on Measure J. Transform, as you know, is an advocacy organization, and they are in favor of Measure J, and they put on 2 Saturdays ago what they call a door knock. Elected officials know that as canvassing, but Transform is special, so they have a special name. One of your board members, Monica, was there. I wish I had the energy and intelligence and strength of character that she has. Unfortunately, we weren't paired to canvass together, but she was there and working hard also.
Who was that you were talking about?
Monica Wilson.
Oh.
Our board member.
You're going to get it now, Bob.
I'm going to get it now. I just got the eyes.
I would like to say that walking takes different muscles than bicycling, and I felt it the next day. 40 houses. And we had a list of the voters that lived in these houses, and they were probable yes votes. So we were just going door to door, encouraging the people who were probably going to vote yes, and giving out brochures. It was a beautiful Saturday. There were lots of people who weren't home. We left brochures there too. Okay, but about halfway through the morning, my 28th house or something, I knocked on the door, and a man came to the door, and I asked for the voter by name as part of our script, as I was supposed to, and he said, "Oh, that's my wife. She's not home." But he seemed like an amiable guy, so I introduced myself, and I was going to say positive things about Measure J. But as soon as I got the words Measure J out of my mouth, he turned purple with rage, and I had to step back, and he started saying all kinds of nasty, bad things about taxes and about transportation, and both of them are bad, and I'm trying to give neutral, not negative, but neutral body language, and I just, let him spend his energy. The police call this aggressive and hostile on his part, AH. That also stands for asshole, pardon my French. Okay, but that's what happened. And when he stopped, he said, "And I should know because I work for the DOT." Oh, okay, well, don't engage when something like this happens. Now, Monica quick on her feet. She could have thought of something nice to say, but I didn't. So I just backed away, said thank you, left, continued getting my legs and feet sore. And at the end of the day, that was the end of the day. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Craig Bender?
Good evening. My name is Craig Bender. I live off of Livorno in South Walnut Creek. And my daughter recently took a job in San Francisco, so every day I drive her to and from the Walnut Creek Park. And when I come home, heading south from Walnut Creek every day, I get sick feeling in my stomach from looking at all that construction that's going on between South Main and Livorno. I cannot imagine what good it is doing. Unless you're going to put another lane all the way from Walnut Creek to San Ramon, it's not going to help anybody get anywhere faster than they are already today. And the toll lanes also really upset me. I think the federal government came after you because the toll lanes weren't being used. People don't like the carpool. They carpool to save money, but not always to save time. Back in New Jersey, what they did is they spray painted over the diamonds. So instead of spending hundreds of millions of dollars to create a toll lane, you could have spent thousands of dollars on spray paint and gotten rid of the diamonds and allowed both the rich and the poor to take advantage of an increased lane. A much smaller project than the lanes is another one that kind of turns my stomach, is a projected $7 million for 2 roundabouts in Moraga. If they're anything like the roundabout on Olympic Boulevard and Pleasant Hill Road, I don't see how that can cost $3.5 million. I would think 10 people there with some forms and concrete pouring, a little spray paint on the roads and some signs, and you've got it done. Imagine a house you could build for $3.5 million. 5 bedrooms, 4 baths, a wine cellar, swimming pool, tennis courts, and compare that to this little concrete roundabout. I just don't get it. And another $3.5 million, actually 3.7, is a pilot program for shared autonomous vehicles. To me, a shared autonomous vehicle is nothing but a minivan without a driver. So why don't you buy 20 minivans, hire 40 drivers, have them test out the concept, see if anybody wants to share a ride, instead of spending all those millions of dollars to test something. In fact, you could probably get Waymo to do this kind of testing for you. They're interested in autonomous vehicles. Why are we spending that kind of money to test something that may or may not pan out? So while many of your favorite contractors and consultants and union members are getting rich off of all these make-work projects, we're the ones who are paying for it for the next 35 years. I mean, I just think this is audacious and to no end, for asking Measure J for another 35 years. And then one last thing, which I brought up on some public comments before, is you're restricting Measure J payments, projects to Contra Costa County. But many, if not most, of Contra Costa commuters probably work outside of this county. Many of them head to San Francisco. I would think $100 million could have been better spent to take a westbound flyover from Route 24 to the Bay Bridge and avoid that 580 merge, which seems crazy, 2 major highways having a ground level merge. And you would have had more impact on Contra Costa commuters than the toll lanes do. That's my thoughts, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir. I have no other speaker cards. Is there anyone else wishing to address the board? Seeing none, this meeting is now adjourned and we all can go home. I guess I won't get the votes for that, so we might just keep it going. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Terry Ann. It didn't work. Anyway, I now would ask for election of our chair and our vice chair. So I would
You want them separately or together?
put them together.
I'll move Julie Pierce chair and Therese Geringer vice chair.
Second. I have a first and a second.
Or is that Teresa?
Teresa.
Teresa, okay.
Okay. All right, we have a nomination for both. Any discussion? Then we'll call for the vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? See how easy you can be replaced? Boom, done. Anyway, before I walk off and hand it all over to Julie, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank staff. I want to thank all the persons that have I've been involved with. It's been a different year from the first year that I was chair, but it's quite an honor, I think, to be involved with some of probably the most intelligent persons I've ever worked with. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to probably better capable hands than the mayor, but to the director who guided me and at times kind of said, Mayor, maybe you better not say this or that. And then Julie Pierce going, oh my gosh, don't do that. And so it's all been good. So again, I thank you, and Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. And since I have the microphone here, I'm not going to stand up, but I will read. I want to thank Bob. It's been a lot of fun. And I know you're nearing the end of your tenure here on CCTA, unless you decide you're going to run again this summer. But we really appreciate all you've done. And we have a little commendation for you and a gift. But let me read the commendation. The Contra Costa Transportation Authority commends Bob Taylor for dedicated service to the authority as chair from February 2019 through February 2020. Bob Taylor led the authority with enthusiasm, respect, and diplomacy, and contributed to a very noteworthy year, which included the development of a transformative transportation expenditure plan and placement of a measure on the March 2020 ballot. 2 competitive grant awards from the U.S. Department of Transportation, a $7.5 million grant to support a 4-year automated driving system pilot program with 3 real-world demonstration projects, and an $8 million grant to develop a Bay Area mobility on-demand platform, and numerous honors and awards such as the 2019 Bay Area Metro Award for the BART to Antioch Rail Service Extension. That was the culmination of a huge dream for all of us. The Silver Medal Award for Good Government from the Contra Costa Taxpayers Association. A special recognition award from the Pioneer Institute as part of its Better Government competition. And an award for the State Route 4 Balfour Road Interchange Project from the Northern California American Public Works Association chapter. And so it is with gratitude that we recognize Bob Taylor's leadership on the authority board and steadfast commitment to the delivery of Contra Costa programs and projects. With appreciation, February 19th, 2020. All right, and they're going to want a photo op, but we're going to keep this on the table so we don't drop it, because I'm warned that what's in this big box here is fragile.
Randy told me it's a pair of shoes.
Well,
Glass slippers.
it does look a little like shoes, but
Ruby.
there you go, sir. And we'll pose for a picture in a minute for Lindsay, because that's a little far to stretch it.
It's stretchable?
No. Her photo. She's back there trying to get a photo. So just lift. She says
Pull the
lift
shoebox out.
that piece out.
And pull this out? No. Pull this out.
That's the stand. There you go. Watch out. It's heavy.
That's heavy.
Don't drop it.
It means you can never
think that's
gavel
the bottom.
another meeting.
What was the comment?
You can never gavel another meeting with that.
No.
It'll break.
Wow,
But it's
that's,
got your name on it.
wow, that's
You got to turn it over so you can read it.
Here we go. How about like that?
There you go.
Robert Taylor, passion never fades. Contra Costa Transportation Authority. I've never seen this.
That's pretty cool.
This is pretty cool. Wow.
Where do you want us for a picture, Lindsay? Right? Just stand up right here?
Stand up right where you're
Yeah. Let's push the chairs out of the way and we can just stand up right here.
Wow. But I love the accommodation too. I worked hard to get this.
There you go. Right under our sign. Move the chair out of the way. There you go.
Hold on. Thank you so much.
Smile, Bob. Come on. You got a big smile. Well done.
Now we gotta figure out how it goes back in here.
Oh, we'll get her. Go ahead, you start the meeting now.
Okay. You'll figure out the puzzle?
I'll figure out the puzzle.
It is kind of a maze of foam in that box. That's beautiful.
It is beautiful. Wow.
All righty, very good. The next item on our agenda is to look at committee assignments. And currently, the Admin and Projects Committee, which meets on the first Thursday morning at 8:30 of each month, has Newell Arnrich, Tom Butt, Teresa Geringer, Bob Taylor, and myself. And the current members on the Planning Committee are Luella Haskew, Dave Hudson, Chris Kelly, Karen Mitchoff, and Kevin Romick. Currently, Federal Glover is not assigned to either of the committees due to time constraints. Is everybody okay with those assignments, or does anybody want to switch?
I'm okay.
Chris is the new one, so do you have a real preference for one or the other? The ones that Planning Committee is at 6 o'clock on the first Wednesday night. It's an evening meeting. And they are generally pretty quick.
And they get canceled a lot.
Well, we both have.
Well, you're not supposed to let that out. That's why APC works so hard. We
That's
take care of
right.
the money.
Yeah, we
make it all
take
work.
care of the dollars,
We make it
pay the
work.
bills. But everybody's okay with those? Do I see any objections to that? Okay, with no, I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, a motion by Arnrich, a second by Taylor. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? That carries unanimously. Thank you, Terry Ann, for the list. That worked out very well. The next item on the agenda is to look at our 2020 meeting schedule. That was in your packet. Anybody got any issues with the schedule? Very good. You want an action on this or an acclamation? You want a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Arnrich, second by Romick. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? That carries unanimously. Thank you. Next item is the approval of the minutes of the January 15th, 2020 meeting. Do we have any corrections, additions, or a motion for approval?
Second.
Motion by Haskew, second by Arnrich. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Oppose? That carries unanimously as well. Thank you. The next item is the consent calendar. Does anyone have anything they wish to pull for separate discussion or any questions about any of the items? Or do we have a motion?
So moved.
I heard a move approval over here.
Dave.
Oh, from Dave Hudson, and a second from Tom Butt, I'm sharing. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? There again, that carries unanimously. All right, flip to the end of the consent calendar. 2 regular agenda items. Item 4A11 is the Innovate 680 program, and that's the Bay Area Mobility on Demand, and Tim Hale is going to present this item.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Tim Hale, the Deputy Executive Director for Projects. I have the pleasure of presenting your regular agenda tonight. And just first of all, congratulate Commissioner Taylor on another successful year. And under your leadership, we were able to put together the 2020 Transportation Expenditure Plan, as well as the award of those 2 grants. And I mean, just another huge, innovative, successful year. And just thank you, Commissioner Taylor, and for your leadership. And congratulations, Madam Chair, on your appointment. And looking forward to working with you on another successful year. And I think this is going to be another big year for CCTA. I think you've all been familiar with our Innovate 680 program. The next 2 agenda items relate to that. And Innovate 680 is our 7-prong approach to relieving congestion on the Interstate 680. The first strategy is cooling the corridor hotspots. The second strategy is looking at completing the express lanes or managed lanes, bus on shoulder, also innovative operational strategies, prepare the corridor for the future, first and last mile, as well as transportation demand management strategies. And so under those 7 strategies have really been shepherding a lot of the innovation that we've been doing at CCTA, as well as the submission of the Advanced Transportation Congestion Management Technology Deployment Grant, and that was submitted back in June of 2018, and the authority was awarded that contract or that grant in April 1st of last year, and we just recently received the notice to proceed last week, February 7th, which is an unprecedented 10 months of turnaround to get that awarded to a public agency, whereas some agencies have taken up towards the 2 to 3 years to get their notice to proceed, and that's just a testament of the work of staff and our consultants, Advanced Mobility Group, to get that underway. And so that proposal was really, Advanced Mobility Group was really instrumental in developing that grant proposal and really the strategies associated with it in terms of developing this mobility on demand platform. And for those, for just a little bit about that, is developing an application where you put in your origin, your destination. It gives you a suite of mobility options. You're able to schedule, pay, also get rewards for your trip through this mobile application. And so it's a huge undertaking, and US DOT is really looking to us to develop the model nationwide for this mobility on demand or mobility as a service platform. And so FHWA has recognized Advanced Mobility Group's role in the overall agreement by actually writing them into the grant agreement as a subrecipient of the funds. And so of those funds was an $8 million allocation from US DOT. And so Advanced Mobility Group's role would be handling the project management, the system design, the validation, verification, as well as the design and overseeing the operations and maintenance during the 3-year demonstration period for the ATC MTD grant. And so with that, staff is seeking authorization for the chair to execute agreement, number 539 with Advanced Mobility Group to not to exceed $3,499,536 for 3 years, the limit of the grant, to provide program management, system planning, design, verification, validation services, and to allow the executive director or designee to make any non-substantive changes to the language. So with that, I'll seek your approval.
Any questions?
Second.
You were already. Motion by, no. A motion by Candace, a second by Newell. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Oppose. Was there any public comment on that one? I didn't have any cards, so. Okay. The next item is the Innovate 680 project itself, which is the authorization to the execute agreement 535, again with Advanced Mobility Group. And take it away, Tim.
So Innovate 680, what we've done is we've essentially formulated 6 projects out of the 7 strategies. So the Northbound Express Lanes project kind of takes care of strategy 1 and 2, cool corridor hotspot, complete the express lanes. We have the part-time transit lane project, which is the bus on shoulder project. And then we have the advanced technology project that really combines strategies 4 and 5, as well as what you'll hear more about in the future, CCTA's award of the automated driving systems grant to really look at how do we prepare the corridor for the future for automated and connected vehicles. We also have a Share Mobility Hub project feasibility study to really address the first and last mile needs. And I've already mentioned in the previous agenda item, the MOD platform really serves that 7th strategy. So what we've done is in June of 2018, we released RFP 18-6 to really help us hire or bring on a suite of consultants that we call the strategic delivery team to help us do corridor management, strategic development, and corridor-wide support services. And so what we did is we broke that out into disciplines. And last year we actually awarded Discipline 1, corridor management, to WSP, Discipline 2, public engagement to convey, and in Discipline 3, the traffic modeling to DKS, and Discipline 4 to also WSP for the system management. So I'm here today to actually award 2 more contracts as part of that innovative strategic development group under Discipline 5. And this is a really key discipline. This is actually looking at making sure that as you're developing all of the projects, the 6 projects, making sure that we have oversight that kind of runs across the projects. In other words, an engineering manager an environmental manager, right-of-way, utilities, and some of these key aspects that can really hang up project and create risk in projects, managing that independently of the overall corridor management to make sure that there's seamless integration, that there's not any overlap in scope or overlap or rework based on some of the projects. So, for example, the Northbound Express Lanes project could be putting in a sign foundation, part-time transit lane could also be putting in a sign foundation, and making sure that there's no conflict. The engineering manager would be resolving those conflicts between the projects. And so that's an innovative way of trying to manage this interdisciplinary review amongst all the projects. And so what we've done is we split up Discipline 5 into 5 sub-disciplines: engineering manager, environmental manager, right-of-way manager, utility manager, and survey managers provide the surveying and the topographic mapping for the corridor. So we went through a procurement process, and the evaluation panel unanimously selected Advanced Mobility Group and their complete team, which included BayPAC, ARWS, for both the right-of-way and the utility and the engineering manager component. And so that was disciplines 5A, 5C, and 5D. And so we're actually recommending an award to Advanced Mobility and the team for those 3 disciplines. And then we'll take both actions at the same time, but a little bit about the environmental manager. So we're also recommending approval to Galvin Preservation Associates for the environmental manager component. And that's looking holistically across all of the projects, making sure we're looking at things like program-wide strategies for vehicle miles traveled, environmental mitigation, making sure that we're not paying twice for environmental mitigation on projects, making sure that's staying coordinated and streamlined, and also making sure there's a good one point of contact with the environmental agencies as we're moving these projects through the environmental process. And so we're recommending approval to GPA, Galvin Preservation Associates, for the environmental manager position. And so we'll take each of these separately, but the first one is to Advanced Mobility Group. Staff seeks authorization for the chair to execute agreement number 535 with AMG in an amount not to exceed $850,000 for 5 years to provide corridor-wide support services, Discipline 5A, engineering manager, 5C, right-of-way manager, and 5D, utility manager. So we can take action on that, and then I'll take the next one.
Okay, any questions? That was fast and furious.
I'd just make a comment.
Yes.
I think this is really good. And the reason why is the diversity of the consultants we have, and I appreciate MG bringing in a team, but I think given the new concept of how the new core, all of that this is a great way. I think we're going to get, because it's new ground, right? It's not something that's been done before. And I think out of this, we have some of the most talented people. And with that, I'd move item 4.1.
Yes. Okay. I have a motion. I have a second from Hudson. Motion from Arnridge, second from Hudson for agreement number 535 with Advanced Mobility Group. Any further questions or discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? That carries unanimously. Thank you. And then we're ready to go on 536 for Discipline 5B.
And I move the item 4.1.2.
Okay, motion by Arnridge, second by Romick. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? That carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Thanks, Tim. Good job. That was fast. We have nothing coming from the Planning Committee because their meeting was canceled last time. That probably won't happen for a while.
There you go, Chris. Good
There you
committee.
go. Good job. We are on to item 5 on the agenda, which is correspondence and communications. We have several items there. I do want to comment, when we were in Washington, D.C. last week, we had the thrill of being able to share the press release about the Local Motors and Pittsburgh Unified School District project to put into their auto shop program a autonomous shuttle to teach these kids coming up how to work on the vehicles of the future. And the folks we talked to in Washington, D.C. were really impressed. I mean, they were just sort of like, wow. Almost a wow, why didn't we think of that kind of a wow. And they were really impressed that we were doing this at the high school level. And I want to give huge kudos to Lindsay for putting this thing together. She worked really hard on coordinating it and working with the school. They're going to be sending out their technical people from Local Motors to train not only the kids, but the instructors. They're going to be coming on site. They're going to certify the instructor on working with the high voltage of these batteries. And they're going to be overseeing this the whole time. This is a used shuttle and that they're donating for the work at the high school. And to be able to start building a workforce that is ready to work on the vehicles of the future is huge. And when we talked about it with some of these folks, we talked about growing the program from one high school to multiple locations, because as the press release hit the streets, there were other schools that said, hey, wait a minute, me too. And you know, if you get a workforce in place, how long is it going to be before you get a micro manufacturing plant? And oh, by the way, all of these vehicles are 3D printed. The chassis are printed with a 3D printer. Pretty amazing, huh? So it would be really cool and a way to get some new jobs and manufacturing right here in Contra Costa and be leading the nation in some of that. So they were very impressed with that. You also have a letter for some of the appointments for the representatives for the next year. So that is there. We have associated committee reports. And then we're on the last page. We go to commissioner and staff comments. I will just say as the chair, thank you very much. Thank you, Bob. You did a great job getting us through that expenditure plan year. That was a big lift. And thank you. You did a great job.
Karen, did I do a good job?
You did. Arms of victory.
We appreciate that very much. The next item is Commissioner and ex officio representatives' comments and reports on activities and meetings. I will just report out for both Bob and I that we attended the annual trip to the Hill and walked our 5 miles and a day and tried to keep up with Randy and Tim, who both have really long legs. But we got a lot done and we got a lot of positive response. So,
as a comment to that, the mayor, you know, sometimes getting from the TV to the kitchen is kind of tough, about 25 steps. But I got to tell you, when you go on this trip with the tall director,
Canadian.
I was putting, I'd look at it, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000. This is steps, climbing. I'll be honest with you. Who was telling me their legs hurt from walking? Oh, only out there. Well, let me tell you, I'm in your category. But I got to tell couple of funny things that happened. As the director, they kind of voted that I should wear a bright jacket. As everybody knows, I wear colorful stuff. So I wore a bright peach-colored jacket. Well, as we approached security in Washington, D.C. now, you have to go through a lot of security. Well, it got to that each time I'd go through the security thing, the security people would do this, cover their eyes.
it was a lovely pastel peach jacket.
And they'd cover their eyes. They said, well, we know this guy's not carrying anything. He's trying to be inconspicuous. So the idea was I'm in front of, what congressman were we in front of who said he had a coat just like mine? No. I can't remember. Was he from Oregon? Or you saw?
Yeah, DeFazio.
Yeah, I got a coat just like yours, Mayor. I said, I have one too. And just like yours. And so anyway, I would ask the director that the coat went over pretty well.
Did he admit he ever wore his in public?
Probably not. Anyway, I want to thank Director and Lindsay, and because it was, we were greeted very, very nice and treated very nice. And CCTA's reputation is, wow, it's very exquisite.
Well done.
it's amazing. They actually want to learn from us. I mean, when we were at EPW, I guess it was the very last one we had on our last day there, they were just, wow, can we play too? You know, and normally they're kind of hard-nosed folks to deal with, but they were pretty excited about what we're doing and all of that. So let's start down here with reports. Monica, Chris?
Hi there, everyone. I just want to let everyone here know, most of you have probably heard, that the Hercules train site has been designated a candidate station by the Capital Corridor Board, finally. And this is a big milestone for us to be chosen as a candidate station, in particular because it's going to help us get funding. Now we're really, really real. So we're very, very excited about that. And I can also let you know that a week ago, the City Council in Hercules approved HDR to come back and to design a scaled-down design for the train stop. No big glass palace, but just something that will function. So we're really moving ahead, and we appreciate all your support here at CCTA.
We talked about you in Washington, even with
thank
UP.
you.
And even the UP guy was interested that you actually got the approval for a potential stop.
It was a long time coming.
Yes, well, he
Thank
gave
you.
us cookies. So, anyway, Dave?
Well, I hope you told them that we want to save the spectrum while you were back there. Good.
We did. That was part of the
And
spiel.
I will have you know that while you were away, Scott Haggerty took care of you. They nominated you to be the chair of the Legislative Committee for ABAG. And then if that wasn't enough, they stuck it to you by making me vice chair.
Oh,
So,
my.
I want to go back to what you were talking about. I almost wish that I chimed in about how big this is to get this autonomous vehicle for these kids at Pittsburgh to study. It had to be 20 years or more, and Newell may remember it. The lab donated some kind of super microscope to Cal High. One day the principal came to the school over the weekend, and it appeared that these kids had discovered 3 molecules or something that were the cause of cancer. And we had every major news network there. It is amazing what happens when you just give them a chance.
Anybody else? Reports, commissioners? Coming on down here. Ex officios, any reports? All right. On to executive staff. Randy, what did we not say that we got done?
Commissioners, great meetings in Washington, D.C. We actually had a chance to meet the chairman of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, Congressman Peter DeFazio from the great state of Oregon. And he actually said, "We almost had you." I said, "Sorry, couldn't go." But anyway, so he listened to what we have to say. He likes sustainable materials. We talked about asphalt rubber that we place on the surface of our roadway, lightweight fill using crumb rubber. Sent him the specs before in a previous meeting. So he's all in tune with what we're doing. And we cannot run those vehicles on public streets yet because they're manufactured in America, the Ollie shuttle. Not named after Bruce Ollie, but they're called Ollie, O-L-L-I, Ollie, because they're domestically manufactured. And there's a wrinkle in the federal law that says you have to export it, in theory, export it to Canada and then re-import it back through NHTSA, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, in order to check Box 7 to get a waiver from federal motor vehicle safety standards. And so Chairman DeFazio is really, really big into Buy America. And so we said the only other option for our ADS grant is to go with a technology from France. He goes, "That doesn't sound very good." So we're making progress there. Congratulations, Mayor, on your data platform. That's a direction that I think we want to head as well here, is have a data platform for all these disparate pieces of data to be input into our platform and then analyzed in such ways we can make better decisions. And we loved your quote. So that's great news there. On the news of IT, we went under the cloud, and that's part of our mitigation for cyber attacks. And so we also implemented, what was that, 365, Brian? So that went just great. Office 365, right, Brian? Just fantastic. So congratulations on that. Everything worked. He was worried because every time there's a change in the IT and my computer doesn't look the same, I get upset, and it was good. Met the city manager in Clayton. A lot of potential there. Young man, tall guy. We met actually in Ventura when I spoke down there. We did meet with our legislators to talk a little bit about our draft, ultra draft, but draft faster principles. So the only ones we didn't get were along Interstate 80. So the next time we get out to Sacramento, we'll meet with the senator and the 2 assembly members along Interstate 80, but the rest of them have all been briefed. And then lastly, I think other than Pittsburgh High School, which is a big success story, another part of that is you have a very diverse team at CCTA. And last night I was invited to participate in an event for the WTS, and it was about how do we promote women of color in transportation? How do we make it better for them? And so I really appreciated being invited to that, and there was a number of people there, and I participated on what they call the CEO roundtable. But I think it's important not to forget the value of diversity. It can be gender, it can be sex, it can be religious beliefs, it can be a number of things in diversity. But the point is, it makes you think differently. You get different opinions, and the diversity in our case, Univision came out to Pittsburgh High School, and they wanted to do an interview in Spanish. Now, I don't speak Spanish. I can, but it's not very good words. In fact, they're very bad words because that's just the ones that I learned. And so it wouldn't go really well on a Univision interview. So we asked, Lindsay and I asked Irene Ortega, would she do that? And she said, okay, I'll do it, but I don't feel really good about it. And I said, but it's a growing process. And it only gets easier the more times you get in front of the camera. They'll tell you what to look and so on and so forth. And at the end of the day, they may only get you a thank you or a very short soundbite, even though they're going to talk to you for 10 or 15 minutes. But you'll learn this. And so we've had her hold what is that called? The shadow device, Lindsay? Light and all that. So then she puts pressure on me when I'm doing the speeches so she feels a little comfortable. Anyway, she did a great job. The only problem is they cut her completely out. So now Lindsay's going to Telemundo, not to Univision anymore with their stories. And that's my report. Does anybody have any questions? Congratulations, Mayor. Great year. You're part of that great year. Thank you for your leadership. I mean, we enjoyed it, and yes, you didn't say everything you wanted to say, but in some cases, that's a good thing.
Okay. Thank you, Randy. The next item on the agenda is the calendar for your perusal. Upcoming events are noted there, so you can be ready. And with that, we are adjourned to our next regular meeting on March 18th.
Wow.
Right.
6:45. Yeah.